Hi there, Jerome here, and thank you for clicking on my post. I hope you're all doing fantastic out there. Today I'm taking a look at week 14's discussion post that talks about critical reflection. So today's discussion is in three parts. First, which reflection strategy do you think will have the best impact on students? Second, describe how this would benefit students to achieve the intended outcome. And third, what effect would you suggest it would have on students' capacity for learning? Referring to Brookfield, I evaluated the four lenses of critical reflection. These lenses frame our perspective from which our assumptions about teaching are formed. The four lenses are the student's perception, 2, colleagues' perception, 3, personal experience, and 4, theory. To answer the first question of which strategy of critical reflection, I chose students' experience because one of the hard assumptions I keep is that it's important to me how my students are experiencing their learning. And I'll start trying to answer the second question by describing what the student's perspective means to me. I'm looking at this answer from the perspective of the COVID pandemic and the learning disruption that has sparked a nationwide conversation. This conversation has intensified over the last 2 years, and that conversation was squarely about the value of education. Because learning is not always done purely by lecture anymore, which you know from perusing YouTube. On YouTube, any person with a camera and a microphone can expound their thoughts upon the internet and will guarantee grab an audience. What is not appreciated enough is that the quality of these online personalities are on par or better than classic in-person lecture. Therefore, I think the value of education is dependent on the student's experience. In fact, I'm of the generation that learned 80% of my organic chemistry on Khan Academy on YouTube back in 2011. That's because the lecture did not leave much time for questions, and the teacher was difficult to reach or unobtainable, and the professor depended on a teacher's assistant to go as a go-between when the difficult concepts were just clearly going over our heads and we couldn't even come up with answers or questions. So that was my experience as a student. So the third piece of this discussion was about what effect this has on the capacity for learning, and as Brookfield states quite clearly, that without knowing the student's perspective, we would be working, quote, in the dark. And that guiding students across a bridge of knowledge from where they are to where I am starts with knowing where they are. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to your replies.